Everyone, and welcome to our live session. I'm really excited to take you all on a journey through this beautiful food market. Just look at this image. Isn't it amazing? We can see a young woman walking through a traditional street market. There is so much happening in the background. Stalls full of fresh fruits, vegetables, and maybe even spices and snacks. Today we are going to explore everything: what she sees, what she buys, and how people interact in a food market. We'll also learn how to describe such scenes in English. You can also type your answers in the chat as we go. So, are you ready? I hope you are. Let's take a closer look at the image. We see the girl standing near a food stall. She looks curious, maybe even a little hungry. What is she looking at? Maybe a basket of mangoes or guavas. What colors do you see? I see yellow, bananas, red tomatoes, and green chilies. How would you describe this image in English? You can say the market is crowded but lively. The girl is wearing a casual outfit and seems interested in local food. The background is full of baskets and containers of fresh fruits and vegetables. Now try to make a sentence. I see a girl looking at. You complete the sentence in your mind or in the chart itself. Let's go beyond what we see. Imagine the smell in the air: spices, fried snacks, sweet fruits. How about the sounds? Vendors shouting prices, people laughing, footsteps walking on the street. The texture of vegetables: rough potatoes, smooth tomatoes, and leafy coriander. Practice this with me. I can smell the spices from the food stalls. I hear the busy voices of shoppers and sellers. I feel the rough surface of a ripe jackfruit. These small details make your English very vivid. Now let's have some fun. Let us pretend you are this girl in the image. What would you say to a seller? Let's practice. How much is this? Is it fresh? Can I taste a sample? Do you have anything sweet? And what would you say to yourself? Maybe, hmm, these mangoes look juicy. Should I buy bananas or papayas? I hope I have enough cash. Let's say this aloud together. Now let's talk about the food itself. What kinds of food do you think are sold in this market? Maybe local fruits like guava, banana, lychee, or something else. Maybe some fried snacks like samosas, vadas, pakoras, or jalebis. Let's learn to describe them. This samosa is crispy and spicy. These bananas are ripe and yellow. The pakora is hot and crunchy. Now think of your favorite market snack. Try to describe it in English and type in the chat if you want. Let me pause here. This is the first 60 minutes of your 2 hour script. There is a young girl walking slowly, enjoying every movement. She is holding a cloth bag. Maybe she is shopping for her family. She stops to look at fresh vegetables, bright red tomatoes, leafy spinach, green cucumbers. She smiles at the vendor and picks a few items. Listen to this sentence. The girl is selecting the freshest vegetables with care. Say it again. The girl is selecting the freshest vegetables with care. Now let's try a variation. She gently places the vegetables into her bag. Say it again. She gently places the vegetables into her bag. Now she talks to the vendor. Hello, how much for these tomatoes? Only 30 rupees per kilo. The vendor replies. She nods and says, Great, I'll take the 2 kilos. Let's repeat that dialogue. Hello, how much for these tomatoes? Only 30 rupees per kilo. Great, I'll take 2 kilos. Let's practice vocabulary now. Vendor, that means a person who sells something. Fresh produce, that means fruits and vegetables. Weighing scales, that means the machine used to measure weight. Now she moves to the fruit section. She sees apples, banana, guavas, and lemons. Let's describe this. The fruit stall is bright and colorful. She picks up an apple and checks its ripeness. Repeat it slowly. She checks its ripeness. The apple is red, shiny, and crisp. Let's add another line and say it again. She buys half a kilo of bananas and places them in her bag. I repeat, she buys half a kilo of bananas and places them in her bag. Now she gets hungry. There is a food stall nearby selling hot snacks. She buys a plate of steaming samosas. The vendor hands it to her with a smile. Let's say it again. The aroma of samosas is mouth-watering. The aroma of samosas is mouth-watering. She takes a bite and smiles. It is delicious. Let's practice. Delicious means very tasty. And mouth-watering means something that makes your mouth water. The girl walks to a spice stall. She sees heaps of red chili powder, turmeric, cumin, and cardamom. She says, Can I get 100 grams of garam masala? The vendor nods and packs it in a paper pouch. Let's repeat. Spices are sold by weight. The smell of spices fills the air. She buys what she needs and thanks the vendor. I repeat, spices are sold by weight. The smell of spices fills the air She buys what she needs and thanks the vendor. She now feels thirsty. She goes to a juice stall and orders a glass of fresh orange juice. It is cold and refreshing. Say it with me. The juice is freshly squeezed. It is sweet, tangy, and perfect for the summer heat. Now, this is vocabulary time. Squeezed means praised to get juice. Refreshing means something that gives you energy. Stall, a small shop or counter in a market. Now she checks her list and finishes her shopping. She smiles, satisfied with her purchases. She carries the bags in both hands and begins to walk home. Say it again. The girl finishes her shopping at the market. She feels happy and content. Now let's move to the stall that steals every heart, the dessert section. Can you see these golden spirals of jalebi glistening in syrup? They are crispy on the outside and juicy inside. This is where sweet cravings come alive. Just look at the variety: sweets topped with silver leaf, laddus stacked like treasure, and colorful halwa balls. In India, sweets are not just food, they are emotions. Every celebration, every festival, and even everyday joy often ends with a bite of something sweet. The girl pauses here, perhaps thinking of someone special, or maybe just treating herself. Have you ever treated yourself with something sweet just because of you deserved it? The aroma of ghee and cardamom fills the air. Behind the stall, an old man with a kind smile offers her a sample. She takes a bite and her face lights up. A genuine, warm smile. It is not just the taste, it is the movement. A bite of comfort. Notice how even the busiest market shows down when people reach the sweet counter. It is universal truth. Desserts bring peace in chows. Now we reach one of the most charming parts of any local Indian market, and we see here bargaining. Here, buying is not just a transaction, it is an art form. Look at her expressive hands, her playful smile. She is not angry, she is enjoying it. Now she is saying, "Brother, itna to nahi banta." Even if she is speaking English, her eyes speak fluent local market language. The vendor smiles too. He knows this game. It is friendly, almost like a dance. Offer counter, offer, walk away, call back, and so on. Then they both laugh. She gets the snack for her price, or close enough, and he earns a smile. That is called win-win situation. Bargaining is not just about the money. It is about building human connection. especially in a world full of fixed prices and faceless on online checkouts. In markets like these, people still matter more than margins. Now take a deep breath. Can you imagine that burst of tangy, spicy aroma? Yes, we are now at the pickle stall. Rows of glass jars glisten in the sunlight, red, orange, yellow, and green. Each one holds a world of flavor. Mango pickle, lemon chutney, mixed veg achar. It is not just food, it is heritage in a jar. She picks up a jar, reads the label. You can see the curiosity in her eyes. She knows that each jar holds grandma's magic, recipes passed down for generations. Maybe she remembers that when her nanny, that means grandma, used to make pickle. That taste impossible to forget. The vendor gives her a spoonful to taste. A tiny bite, and there it is. A spark. Eyes widen. It is hot. It is bold. It is home. Some flavors don't just dance on your tongue, they take you back in time. The girl standing at a sugarcane juice stall, watching the machine crush the cane, wiping sweet, taking a sip of juice in a steel glass. After wandering through colors, spices, and sounds, she takes a pause. The heat of the market wraps around her. But right here stands the savior, the sugarcane juice stall. That old machine creaks and whirs. You can almost hear it grind the cane as fresh green stalks disappear into its jaws. Juice flows like nectar, sweet, raw, and earthy. It is not just a drink, it is liquid energy. He hands her a still glass, chilled and dripping with condensation. She takes a sip, and you can see the relief in her eyes. One taste, and suddenly the dust appears, the noise softens, and all that is left is this pure moment of refreshment. Simple things like these are the real luxuries in Indian bustling cities. Suddenly, in a quiet corner, she hears it, a flute. Soft, soulful music floating above the chores. Not loud, not attention seeking, just there. She stops, mesmerized. A street performer sitting cross legged, eyes closed, playing his heart out. No mic, no crowd, just the melody. And her standing still, listening. In a market that is alive with noise, this listening, this silence in music feels sacred. It is just a reminder. Beauty hides in unexpected corners, and sometimes magic happens when you simply pause. She walks towards a stall glowing with colors. That is red, yellow, indigo, rolled, folded, and stacked like treasure. This is not just fabric. These are stories woven in silk and cotton. Let's explore food market. The girl enters in a bustling Indian food market. Vibrant stalls line the narrow paths. The air is thick with aroma of spices, fried snacks, and sweetness. People chatter, vendors call out. A kid runs past holding a samosa. She steps into the food market, and it is like stepping into another world. Crisp pakoras seasoned in bubbling oil, golden samosas are stacked like pyramids. Steam rises from huge pots of chol and pav bhaji. The air is thick with turmeric, cardamom, garlic, and childhood. She walks slowly, eyes wide, drawn to the colors, the sounds, the heat, and the aromas. One vendor grins and offers her a small tasting spoon that is called chaat. She nods, smiles, and takes a bite. Tangy, spicy, sweet, like a festival on her tongue. She sees a boy eating jalebi, orange syrup dripping down his fingers. A woman scoops up masala peanuts into paper cones. A family laugh over tiny plastic cups of kulfi. This is not just food. It is a celebration of survival, joy, and culture. She takes a plate of dosa, finds a corner, one bite, and she forgets the noise. Time slows down. In that moment, it is just her and the spice and a deep sense of being alive. As she continues walking, she notices a man grinding chutney with a stone mortar and pestle. The rhythm of his hands matches the heartbeat of the market. Next to him, another vendor is roasting corn on open fire, rubbing it with lemon, salt, and chili powder. The smell is smoky, earthy, and irresistible. Children gather near a stall selling colorful sugar candies, their eyes gleaming with excitement. The vendor hands each child a pinwheel shaped lollipop, red, yellow, and green. It is not just candy, it is nostalgia in a wrapper. She passes by a spice store. Bags of cinnamon sticks, star anise, dried red chilies, cumin, cloves piled like treasure. She leans in and takes a deep breath. It is intoxicating. 100 kitchens live in that scent. Then comes the tea stall. The vendor expertly pours the chai, that means tea, from one tumbler to another. Frothy, spiced, and rich. He notices her watching and says, "Want one?" He asks. She nods. He hands her a small clay cup. which is warm, fragile, and earthy. Then she sips. The heat spreads across her lips. The ginger bites back. The cardamom soothes it. A perfect balance. A sip of memory, a sip of hope. She watches a group of college students sharing pani puri, competing who can handle the most spice. An old couple splits a plate of idli, quietly smiling at each other. A foreign tourist marvels at the colors and chows, trying to pronounce vada pav. She realizes this market is not just about food. It is a melody of lives intersecting. Here language doesn't matter. Taste speaks louder. She takes another bite of her dosa, and for a moment, she is part of something bigger. A tapestry of traditions, emotions, and flavor. She steps into a narrow alley branching from the main market. Here the stalls are quieter, more traditional. A woman is sitting cross legged on the ground, hand rolling papers under the sun. Each roll is precise, practiced, and perfect. A child beside her fires away the flies with a folded newspaper. They smile as she passes. She walks further and sees a vendor selling pickles. Dozens of glass jars lined up like chemistry lab samples. Mango, lime, red chili, mixed vegetable, and even jackfruit. Each one preserved, not just with spices, but with stories. The vendor says, take a sniff. This one is from my grandmother's recipe. She opens the jar. A punch of mustard, garlic, and thyme. One sniff, and her mouth waters. Suddenly she hears a voice. Ma'am, fresh malpuas just made. She turns. Golden, syrup drenched malpuas sizzling in a huge kadai. The vendor flips them gently. The hot syrup glistens in the morning sun. She takes a bite. Crispy edges, soft center, sweet enough to pause time. In a corner, a group of musicians is playing dhol and flute. People gather around, clapping to the rhythm. The market, it seems, has found its heartbeat. She spots an elderly man carving fruits into roses and birds. People watch in awe, clicking pictures, children pointing in delight. Art made with a knife and mango. She sees a small blackboard at a corner chai stall. Written in chalk, no Wi Fi. Talk to each other. Then she smiles. This market is more than food, it is poetry in emotion. A place where strangers smile, where every flavor holds a memory. and where life is served, one plate at a time. She holds her last bite of samosas, closes her eyes, and whispers to herself, some flavors stay forever.